Yeah, let's do some drawing in our sketchbook today. I'm going to set up our studio. So, get this GVM light going. I'm going to use my batteries today on this Newer light so that I can use up the battery so I can recharge the battery. I like to use the batteries every once in a while so that they, don't go bad. I like to use them and recharge them, kind of thing. So it also has a cord so I can connect. I use this light when I'm going out of my studio when I'm going downtown or something to draw, or vlogging early in the morning when it's still a little bit dark out. Just things I like to do during the summer. So that's a good light. Using my GVM light for my main light, and I'll be using this Newer as my rim light. So we're going to color with Posca pens today. This is my sketchbook, and last time we did this little mouse, and then we got a seagull here that we're working on, or that we did. And this is the first day that I got my Posca pens, so I'm actually going to give you guys a better view of what's going on here, because I know in the last video I was on my bed using the lighting from the natural lighting from my window. So anyways, this whole sketchbook is going to be about Posca pens and just doing Posca drawing to get familiar with the Posca pens. I've never used them before. I really enjoy them. They're acrylic paint, and it's a different way of drawing and putting color to your art, and I like to share that. So I do want to make some honorable mentions, a couple things in my studio here. So I have these teddy bears. I really wanted to share this with you guys. So I have a little bear, a little dog here, and a little cat. And the story behind these is when my mom passed away the night before, my stepdad had come back to my room. I was still getting better from my accident. So I fell 35 feet and I broke a bunch of bones, and I had to move in with my parents because I couldn't take care of myself. I stayed in a hospital bed in my parents' house for a couple of years. I mean, it took me a year of physical therapy to learn how to walk again. But so the story about these stuffed animals, because I don't really collect stuffed animals, but my mom loved them. So the night before she passed away, or before she went into a deep sleep, before they pulled the plug, my stepdad had come back and asked me if I was going to go see my mom the next morning. And I told him yes, I planned on doing that. And he just told me she wasn't doing too well when he was over there to see her. So I called her and let her know that I was coming in the next day. And she was real short, and she just wanted to tell me she loved me. And it was really off to me. It set off some alarm bells. So the next morning I went in, and before I went up there, I wanted to get her a couple things. So I bought her this little stuffed bear that sings a song, Sitting on the Dock of a Bay by Otis. And, because she liked that song, Sitting on the Dock of a Bay. And then this little cat reminded me of Bella, and she nicknamed Bella Cheeto Puff, It was cute. Anyway, and the dog was actually something that my stepdad had purchased for her. She loved stuffed animals, so these were hers. And when she passed away, I asked my stepdad, I said, would it be okay if I had those stuffed toys? And he told me yes. So that's where they're here. Just to let you know a little bit about that. And then over here, I have a candle. You guys may or may not have seen in some of my videos. But this candle I've had since she passed away. So this is a Mother's Day ring that I bought her. And it has all three of us boys, both my brothers, are gemstones in it. So, yeah, something I'd bought for her one time in life. So I got that back, and the candle is something I had around when she was there. So I just kept the candle. So yeah, I just wanted to share those two things with you guys. I know that you see them in my videos sometimes, and I just like to explain some things as I go. So anyway, that's the story behind that and those things. But I am going to finish getting this studio set up so that we can draw. Let me get my chair over here next to Bella, my baby kitty cat, and we'll give it a go. See what we can come up with. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Welcome back to Freedom, where me and Bella are chilling and drawing. So there we go. Today we're gonna draw a little more in our sketchbook. So let's do. I'm gonna do a frog, and work on this picture, this page in our sketchbook. So let's just chill, relax, and give it a moment and breathe. Let things come in and as we see them. So maybe we'll do something like a can or something, right here or something that sort of looks like maybe the mouse, or the mouse was chilling in here. Again, we're just going to do it's just going to be a quick little sketch deal. We're not doing anything super fancy. I don't know. Maybe this thing's a little crunched up. I don't know. Can get it in there. Let's do. I'm gonna put this frog right about here. Let's go about like this. Let's make kind of loose with it, right? I like to sketch it in pretty light because I'm going to do some erasing. So. Keep it really nice and light. I don't want to make any hard lines, I want it to be kind of light. So whatever you're using for a reference photo. I like to just try to draw in shapes, of what I see, and try to make sense of it as I go. Might not make a lot of sense at first, but as drawing goes along, hopefully it'll come together a little more. Right? That's the hope. So, and my goal here is not to be perfect. It's just to be intentional and to try to draw what I see. So, yeah. I'll be right back. I need to go get an eraser. I really like these kneaded erasers because you can pull them out, you can shape them, do all kinds of things, and they just they seem to last a long time. So, in fact, I've never thrown one away. So, right, just I never have. Okay, I just yeah, maybe. You know what? Maybe that's all right. We'll leave that. I'll leave that there. So, okay. And then, okay. Yeah. There's other ways of getting things exactly perfect on your reference photo, like doing grids and stuff like that, or taking tracing paper or anything. And I have a roll of some really cool paper, but I use this mainly for like airbrush stuff. So whenever I'm trying to make shields, and I want, I'll for like an apple or whatever. I can cut out an apple out of this and then spray the whole background without getting any kind of overspray on the apple. So yeah, I use this a lot for that. But you can use it for tracing, doing all kinds of stuff. There's nothing wrong with tracing anything. Um, you're gonna learn either way. If you're going to color it, trace it up and color it in. I mean, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I think people get hung up a lot on you know whether or not that's honest, this kind of thing. But how I feel about it is that art is art, and if it makes you feel good when you're doing it, um, then it's doing something positive in your life. If it's slow and quiet and peaceful and chill, then I can relate to that. That I can relate to. Maybe it has a lot to do with the town I live in. Maybe it has a lot to do with the slow lifestyle around me, that the tranquility of quietness and peace. There's movement still happens even in the most quiet of times. There's still going to be movement. There's still going to be some noise. There's still going to be things going on. So, anyway, that's how I feel about it. Let's start thinking about them feet, huh? Here. I do want to change this a little bit here. About right there. I'm thinking about the web feet. Thinking about the webbed feet. So let's see. This is where his little hand's gonna be. I don't know if frogs have hands. I mean, if they do, they do. But this one kind of looks like a hand to me. I don't know. I don't know if frogs have hands. Do they have hands? Let me know. Somebody would know that, I'm sure. That's gotta be something somebody would know about froggies. I like frogs. I like turtles. I like all animals. I really do. I'm a sucker for life unconditionally. Yeah, animals can teach us so much about life, about things. So, right? This can and this kind of stuff. Uh, I might do in a separate video. We'll see how long this one's going. I got a timer there on my camera. I can see how long this video is going. I don't want it to go super long. So just long enough, just a good chill session. That folks can enjoy and you know, draw along with if that's what you're doing. I appreciate you. I do from the bottom of my heart with everything I got and every fiber of my being. Absolutely. So let's start drawing this in now. Well, let's see. I want to get these. Let's get these feet. These feet a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be, intentional. It's fine. We'll start thinking about, how this is gonna look here. Again, I don't really want to make any real hard lines here. I want to be a little careful of that because we're gonna be coming back in with a Posca pen, so we're gonna put some color into it. This is where we can get rid of some of these lines so I can sort of see what we're doing here a little bit. Bring that back. I guess I'll just I want to see that. That's fine. Okay, I got. And if you're drawing something, leave it down in the comments. What are you drawing? What do you like to draw? I like to hear stories like that. I really do. I like to hear what other people are doing. It allows me to mentally think, about other people and what they're doing. Because honestly, I think thought is very powerful. So when we're thinking about something, we're thinking about others, we're thinking about their life. We're hoping for them what we'd want for ourselves. This kind of thing. It's validating. It's like, hey, we can think about each other, and I don't know if that really makes a difference in their lives, whether they know you're thinking about them or not, or whether it's just something that sort of mystically happens. I don't know. It's one of those things. Where I believe thought is power. Thought is definitely powerful, and what we put into the universe can be very powerful as far as our thoughts go. Right. Get that little hand in there. So yeah, I like drawing the shapes of what I see, and then I'll come back and erase things, and then just kind of work it in there, you know. What I'm seeing here. I see a fat little frog here. Yeah, I do. I see a fat frog. Little toad, little fat toad. Yeah. It's fun. It's healing. I mean, art is what you make it. I mean, it can be fun, it can be relaxing, it can be stressful if you want it to be, I guess. That's your aim. Don't let it be, though. I don't think that's healthy. Get a little nose in there, right? So, little hint that there's another eyeball over there. Let me get rid of this hard line here. Maybe this one too. Just kind of clean it up a little bit. Get rid of a few of those lines that we made just to kind of give us some direction. And that's all it really is just finding the direction, right? Finding the direction. Okay, well, it's looking a little more like a frog to me, I guess. We're going to paint it. We're going to paint it with some Posca pens. No, that's a cute frog. What should we name it? I mean, I guess, you know, we can name it something. Kermit, maybe? Kermit? Maybe Kermit. Get that hand back in there so I know where it's at. And that, to me, is a quick sketch. So what I want to do, I'm seeing some spots on this frog. Let's put a couple spots in there. Spot there, maybe one right here. And then let's get this one right here. Maybe right here. Maybe a couple of ones right here. Then constantly looking at my reference over here. It's not going to be exact. I think my frog's probably a little fatter. I like fatter frogs. I like my frogs a little chubby. Little chubby frogs. Let's put another one right there. He's looking like a frog now, right? A lot more than he looked about 15 minutes ago. Okay. Let's get some spots over here on this hind leg. His little hoppers. Yeah. Let's see one right here. Yeah. All right. I think that's legit. I think I can go into the Posca pen now. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this can. Well, maybe not completely. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. I might not do a can here. It might be something completely different. I just wanted to put that there just to kind of get an idea of maybe that's what I wanted to do. Maybe the mouse is coming out of a can. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's doing something completely different. Maybe there's something else right here. I'll have to keep looking at that because maybe the can's still going to work right there. I need to do it a certain way. I need to look at it and spend a little time there with it. All right. So, what do we want to paint the frog? What color are frogs usually? This one's looking green. Green with green with a little bit of gray, I think is what I see there. Eye is pretty small. Let's grab maybe green, maybe some really light blue for the dots. It doesn't have to be exact, right? It can be your own frog. These colors aren't going to be exact because they're literally they're primary colors. This is what it is. So it makes it so fun. So I'm going to use a little yellow, a little black. Maybe even a little red. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I think that's going to be it. We got a total of 7 colors here. And I'm going to keep them over here, actually. Let's put our pencil away. Put it in my candy case. We'll see how to build it. Hey, baby. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. She's getting ready to take a nap, and she's a little fussy. She's probably been taking a nap. I decided to wake her up, I guess. It's probably not the greatest thing to do, Dad. I need what I like to have is a little piece of paper just to for my pencils or for these Posca pens because honestly they can get a little goopy. So, and these are, I haven't looked at this stuff in a while. But a lot of this kind of stuff, this is just checking out different textures with pencils and stuff. This is just doodling. So, I like to doodle a lot. So, I think doodling is pretty cool. So, anyway, part of it. These you gotta shake up, and then you push. See how much paint just came out of there? See that? That's a lot. You don't really want that on your project, right? Not that much paint. That's a little excessive. So that's why I have a separate piece of paper. And I'll keep that like that. So, I mean, I'm not going to use that actually. I think we're probably okay here. I think whatever I got on this nib is going to be just fine. Yeah. I'm just looking because there's different effects you can get. I like that. So now I'm going to come through here and I'm just going to outline our frog here. I'm not gonna do really broad lines or anything. I'm just gonna kind of skip across. I don't want to. I don't have to fully outline it. You can, but I think I'm learning that maybe this might be a better better approach. Just to kind of skiff it in there. A lot of times, getting detail in the right place is not drawing everything you see, but perhaps just letting it come into frame a little bit, letting it breathe, letting your art progress and tell a story as you're going. I really like these finer nibbed Posca pens because they're smaller. They're not as big as the brush ones, so you can get some better line work out of it for finer detail stuff. I wouldn't say better line work, not exclusive or anything to line work, but it definitely helps when you don't want to put a lot of paint down at once. Yeah, I hope you guys like drawing as much as I do. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I know a couple of you really do. So, it's actually know that. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to know, right? I'm gonna name this frog. We can name him Kermit. Does he look like a Kermit? I mean, that's a little cliche, right? Kermit. Every frog's gonna be named Kermit. Maybe we'll call him something else. Maybe we'll call him Fred. Fred sounds pretty good, right? When I was a kid, and I was only a pencil artist. I like to draw with pencils, and I started real young. I started probably around I started real young. I couldn't even tell you. It was probably 5, maybe even quite a bit younger. I don't know, but as soon as I could hold a pen, or as soon as my mom got me some crayons, I don't know. I think that I was really hard on myself. If I had to erase anything like what I did here, or had to, chicken scratch, anything like that, I would consider it a fail. And I would crumple it up and I'd start over and do this self-talk routine of, that kind of thing. Just totally feeling sorry for myself. And it was really hard, on myself like that. So, and if you're an artist and you're out there and you're like that right now, just know that it's a phase. I'm not gonna tell you not to be like that. I mean, that'd be a little hypocritical, right? I'm just gonna tell you. I mean, be kind to yourself. I could tell you, kind of try to take it easy on yourself a little bit. But really, I think it's part of growth. I think it's part of anything. I'm not a professional. I'm a self-taught artist. I never went to school for this, so I wanna put that out there right away. I don't have a problem with anybody going to school with it. I don't think that that's an issue. I can't speak from experience to it, so I don't really know. Either way. So, I've met some really nice people that have been to school, for art, and they generally have a lot of really great things to say. So, either way. Do I think you have to go to school to learn art? I don't know. I don't think so. I think you can learn art and have fun. Through watching other people or through learning techniques from other people, those kinds of things. So, ooh, man, that's a lot of paint, but we're gonna leave that. See what I mean? It can get a little goopy. You want to be careful there. No pressure. Because I can really mess things up real quick with that. I mean, there's quite a bit of paint there, but once it dries, it'll be fine. Where am I going with that? So yeah, Posca pens can be messy. You really want to have that extra piece of paper to make sure that you don't spill all over the place or anything like that. You want to be careful. Like some of the marks these things can make, right? There's so much stuff you can do in art. I mean, it's just like there's no right way or wrong way of doing anything. So now what I see is I want to get a little depth. I want these things to look like they're kind of just maybe raising up a little bit off of them. So I'm gonna think about values. I'm gonna think about shadows. We live in a world where the values of something is what makes everything three-dimensional. So if you're looking at a ball and you take the shadow away from one side of it, it's gonna look flat. It's not gonna look like a sphere. It's not gonna look 3D. It's gonna look flat. So it's the magic of values and why they're so important. And a lot of people in day-to-day life, they don't think about the shadows. Who wants to think about the shadows? Artists like to think about shadows. Yeah, come over here. Speaking of shadows, maybe wherever there might be shadows, we might draw a hint of that gray. And again, just be real light, okay? Don't be real aggressive. Don't push down too hard. If you're painting with Posca pens. Posca pens are a lot of fun. And if you're painting with them, just be careful. So, there. We're going to go. Oh. I'm going to get a little bit of that paint off of there. I don't want any hairs or anything like that. I'm going to come in here on this line where we had the black. I'm going to just come over underneath that black a little bit. I don't want to completely erase all of it. And we're going to do that wherever there's some black. I don't want to go over that black because this stuff is super opaque. So, I mean, not all colors are that way, but they are to a certain extent. But if I was to go over that black with that green, it would probably make the green disappear or the black disappear completely. I don't really want to do that necessarily because I still want it to be, a border for the different areas of the froggy. Just nice, easy little drawings that help build confidence and interests. You gotta feed art. Art is something that needs to be fed. If you ask somebody to go out and draw a spectacular landscape and tell them to draw it to a perfect rendition, they're gonna fail and they're not gonna like what they're doing. I've said this before, and I believe it. I just think that it's important to build confidence. But if you teach somebody different things, about art, um, it can be fun. If you teach them things like shading, different shading techniques and texture techniques and stuff, it can be not only informative, but it could be that catalyst that sticks with that person and keeps that interest in them. And you never know what that person's going to grow up to be someday, or turn out to be, or how they're going to give back to the community that you live in. So it's always good to be mindful and to invest in other people that way. I think that it's important. I'm going to come in with a little bit of a lighter grain here. Just to color in that foggy. Keep that black line there above the eye. I think this is where our frog will start popping off the page a little bit. A little bit more. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'll be honest with you. I really enjoy this time doing this. It really slows everything down, puts a lot of things into perspective. Life, the things that we think about, the things that we don't think about, that come to our mind when we're processing something like this as we're going along, can be enlightening and healthy. Healing, most of our healing comes from within us. I'm no guru or anything, or no I guess I like philosophy. I like stuff like that. I like talking about things that things that are affecting us that we sometimes take for granted. I guess is what I'm getting at with that, because I think when I talk about shadows, when I talk about things that art, people that create art think about, it's not something that is part of the norm. It's not normal. I would say it's normal. I want to be careful there, because I don't want to call anybody strange for being an artist. You don't have to be strange just because you're an artist. Tend to think outside the box when you're an artist. You tend to have a broader horizon, broader way of thinking about things. But it doesn't make you exclusive to anything. I'm going to come down here. I like that red, but I'm going to just cover it up just a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to come back with something over it. Maybe not. I'm going to just leave it there. I don't want to overthink this. It's not something that needs to be overthought. And by doing that and practicing and being that way as an artist, it tends to grow on you. And, you just get quicker, a little better each day, each time, each drawing. And when you see the results of getting better and stuff, it's motivating. It's definitely motivating. It drives you a little deeper into the journey of wanting to create things, um, creating things for yourself first, and then for others. It's just like anything else. You have to love yourself before you can love other people, right? It's the same thing with art. You have to love drawing for yourself before you can appreciate somebody else's viewpoint about your art. And if anybody ever gives you suggestions on your art, take it. Take it. Don't be upset. Don't be sensitive. Accept it. Thank them for spending, their time thinking about it. Because again, thought is powerful, man. What we think about other people, about things. Um, what we manifest with our minds into reality, into existence, what we speak, what we think. It's all so much part of life. It's just as much a part of life as anything else tangible. Might not be tangible, in the traditional sense, but it's just as important. So I think a lot happens right there at that level of thought, more than what we know. So when we're thinking about other people in a positive way, hopefully, we don't we don't want to do that to ourselves when we're thinking negatively. If we have to do that, then there might be some life choices we need to start thinking about. Because it's not healthy, and I mean that. It's not healthy to think negatively about other folks. And we're not perfect. It's gonna happen. We're gonna think that way. Just catch it. Just catch it and be bigger than it. Realize that it needs to be behind you and not a part of you. Don't let it go into your heart. A lot of things come out of our heart. A lot of just vile things. You know what I mean? Well, you can really, really, really cause some havoc. With sort of what's in our heart. So that's why, as you're moving through life, and you're agreeing and disagreeing with yourself, always ask yourself a question. How does this benefit me? Why am I thinking this way? What is it? What's the end game? What's the result? Why am I thinking this way? Or why am I wanting to do this? And does it benefit me somehow, in some way? I like the blue, but maybe not. Maybe not on the frog. Let's stick to the greens. I see something here that might just work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over the top, because I think that outer edge is also going to be a bit dark. It's not going to be dark like the gray, but it's going to have different light, because they're like warts, right? I think. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Again, if you know frogs, let us all know down in the comments section if they have warts. I've always heard that they cause warts. I've heard that. Don't touch frogs, they cause warts. Do they? I mean, does it? Do frogs cause warts if you handle them? I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that one. I'm not entirely sure about that one at all. So I'm not going to subscribe to that. And then we'll come in with the lighter green, right? Because if we didn't put that green on the outside there and that gray underneath, And this great, you wouldn't see the oar, right? It just blend right in, huh? So by doing it this way, there's a bit of separation there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got friends that use Posca pens, and they had mentioned, that they make a mess, when they use them. So they use them for certain things, and I would have to agree with that. They can for sure. I'm new to Posca pens, so I'm still learning. But I showed you in real time that hey, they really can. They can really be generous with the paint, like that red down there. I mean, that created a little pool of paint. There wasn't nothing I could really do with that until it sort of simmered down and dried a little bit. You know. So yeah, it's definitely stuff can make a mess. That's for sure. Just just be careful. So enjoy it. Just don't have keep it in mind that you don't want to put a lot of pressure on these nibs because they will throw the paint down. That's for sure. I just want to kind of get some of the white off there. So we're coming in. Now what I do like about these things, and I probably say this in every video, but is that their opacity, they're very opaque. So I mean, even if I go over black or whatever, or even over this red, I mean, I can come back and go back over it with red if I wanted to, but I'm probably not gonna do that. There it is. That's a quick sketch. I'm gonna leave it where it's at, and I hope you enjoyed this time of sketching. You could definitely spend more time with it, and go back with black, like this. See, but I did that on the tail right here too, and I don't really like that. But if you want to just come in here and maybe you see a couple places that you could, no, put that black. Again, don't trace the whole thing. Just kind of put a little black in there. Everything else is looking pretty decent to me. Maybe right there. Maybe right there. Other than that, that's about where I want it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace from Bella, and have a great day.